So I'm speaking to you in our future kitchen area here. So what I'm gonna do to get started off today is I'm going to work on getting the plywood on the other, I would call it like the bathroom, kind of like work office loft. This one over here. This one. Then from there I can get the two last pieces of the fascia board, or the subfascia board that's gonna go on either end. I could have finished that yesterday, but I think it's just easier to work from standing in the loft rather than, you know, standing on the ladder 10 feet up or whatever. So yeah, let's get started with the plywood. So the reason why I wanted to get the loft up before I put these end pieces on, one of the reasons is so that I could get these nailers up here. So these here will just give me something to actually nail the subfascia board onto on this end here. If I were to try to get these things screwed in while I was just, you know, on a ladder or whatever, it would have been much more difficult. But since I could get the loft up, like, this will just make it a lot easier. And also just to nail in the subfascia, it's like, why not just make it easier for myself? I have to put the loft up anyways, so might as well do it now. Somebody asked in a previous video saying that we don't have the red lentil chili. It's not in the Instant Pot book. It's kind of in the Instant Pot book. It's called the protein lentil stew or something like that. But the more classic red lentil chili recipe is for free on rawtowhenever.com. So I also wanted to take the time to do a couple of shoutouts. A lot of people, I've gotten so much help from people regarding the tiny house, which has been totally fantastic. People have been offering really good advice and tips, and it's felt like I'm not really building this by myself. Like that's one thing that I love about putting these videos up on YouTube, is that I get to interact with everybody. People get to see how this is happening, and they get to offer suggestions, and it's all been like really positive and really awesome so far. A couple of people behind the scenes have helped out tremendously. Dan from Tiny House Customs, he's got a great YouTube channel, and he's documenting a tiny house build as well. So what I'll do is I'll leave a link down in the description box below if you want to check out Dan's channel. He's been answering a lot of questions that I had just through email, which has been super helpful. And then there's somebody else, Carla and her husband. They actually sent me an entire set of tumbleweed tiny house plants. Tumbleweed is definitely one of the most popular companies in the tiny house movement. And Carla and her husband, they're building their own tiny house. I'm not exactly sure where they live, I can't remember. But they photocopied and sent me an entire set of plans, as well as the building DVDs that I believe that they bought as well. The thing is, I kind of loosely went through the plans, and I don't even have a CD-ROM drive in order to play the videos. But other than that, I really appreciate them sending me that. That's one of the cool things about the tiny house community, is that it's people who are like really trying to like uplift each other and help them, you know, build an epic tiny house. And because a lot of the people that are building these tiny houses, most of them have had like zero construction knowledge beforehand. So most of the people that I've come in contact with are just really helpful, and it's been really so awesome. All right, I'm gonna have some lunch and then get going on the sheathing. So if you watched the one video that I did where I started to work on the sheathing, basically how I laid it out with the spacing is that I need to get the sheathing on the ends first, then I can work on the long ends there. Now before Captain Obvious makes this statement, yes, having a scaffolding, it would be a lot easier to work on that. I could rent one from Home Depot. I honestly think with the 1/2-inch sheets of the plywood, they're not that heavy to get up. Yeah, they are heavy, but a lot of the pieces are cut as well. So it's not like every single sheet that I throw up is gonna be a full sheet. On top of that, I'm gonna be enlisting the help of many nails. So like from the top there to here, I measured down 4 feet, stuck a nail there so that I can actually get the sheet up, set it down, and then nail it in, and then get some screws in as well. Like I've done with all the plywood, construction adhesive, and lots of screws in there to really strengthen this thing up. So I finished this side off here, trying to maintain at least an 1/8 of an inch gap around all the pieces there for an expansion gap. I think I'm gonna work on this piece right here. A little trick here is to screw a piece of 2x4 to the underside of the trailer. That way there, when I get this piece of plywood over here, I can rest it on these little supports here. So I got one there, I got one right there. Alright, I think that's good for today. Got a good amount of work done, and I want to get home and catch up on some video editing and a few other things like that. Anyways, I will catch you guys on tomorrow's vlog. Talk to you soon. Peace!